While AI, Gen AI, Chat GPT, Agentic AI are the buzzwords of today, you need to generate about 500 to 600 billion. And that's the GDP of Sweden. What mistake people have done or doing is to rush into it without thinking about the real impact that it's going to have. Combining these three is what we call it as experience engineering.
So you continue to focus on creating revenue for customer, and that has been seen like that's the DNA of the company, to think about revenue and growth of your customers. Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Zinnov Podcast Business Resilience Series. In this episode, I have Rajaram Radhakrishnan, CEO of Ciklum, leader in digital engineering and experience engineering. Raj has over 3 decades of experience in technology and is known for his innovative approach of using AI and data analytics in driving business transformation. Prior to Ciklum, Raj had leadership roles in Cognizant and Global Logic, where he led global strategy, delivery, marketing, sales, as well as operations. It's an honor to have Raj join us in this podcast. Thank you, Raj. Thanks for making the time.
Welcome. Appreciate it. Glad to be here.
Raj, tell me a little bit about your fascinating career. You've been in technology for the last 3 decades. What are some of the pivotal moments of your career which shaped your leadership?
Wow, it's a long career. As I reflect, maybe I'll point out a couple of pivotal moments. Very early on in my career, I think I had a leader who was tasked to transform the telecom industry in India, the way telecom industry works. I was a rookie. He took me under his wings. There was tremendous political pressure, internal pressure, and external stakeholders, not allowing things to be happening. What stood out in that whole experience and learning for me was he shut out all the noise, gave an ecosystem, while he dealt with everything. And his belief was his team needs to be shielded from everything if you have to achieve a vision in life. And while he was very clear in his vision and what he wanted to achieve, he let the team do what they are good at. I was good at technology. Somebody was good at building a product material. Somebody was good at marketing. To go approach the market once the product is ready, which actually transformed the industry in a year or two after it was. So that gave me a early lesson that you need to be clear in what you do as a leader, communicate it clearly to your teams, and importantly, give them the room to perform with their roles rather than getting distracted by everything that happens around. So that's probably very early on lesson about transformation and the chances of you being impeded by several stakeholders. The second would be around, I used to be a delivery leader, head of delivery for European business where I worked for in London. And I had a Belgian managing director. A lot of people were complaining about things. This is internal. And then he stood up and he said, guys, all great, but we have to realize we are all measured for what you do today and tomorrow. And your clients are not asking what you did in the past. They are looking for the future. So you need to be thinking ahead. And as a leader, what I learned in that is, again, it's your duty as a leader to always guide the team to be not thinking about the past, but thinking about what impact it can make today and tomorrow and into the future. Because that's what the world wants.
Great. And so having a clear vision and reducing the noise for your team, and then focus on today and tomorrow rather than relying on the past. Great. I think those are great leadership principles, Raj. You talk to CEOs of companies on a day-to-day basis. You have clients across the world. What are you hearing as some of the key trends which is shaping their strategy, and what are some of the challenges they're facing in driving those?
No, very interesting question. In the current few months, it's been so dynamic, but it's been pretty amazing to see. Market was upbeat probably middle of last year to end of last year to a change in the dynamics at a macro level. US, of course, leading the pack from an economic recession type of a conversation to consumers and particularly retail companies announcing a decline in their consumption. That's at a macro level. Then, of course, you have your geopolitical equations, equilibrium, in different parts of the world. The one big, saving grace or one big tool that has come for all of us is the artificial intelligence. You might say how this is linked to that. This has given a huge potential to automate a lot of stuff, to probably create more efficiencies. While AI, Gen AI, Chat GPT, Agentic AI are the buzzwords of today, they are the trends that are probably keeping all of us very optimistic looking into the future. You also asked about what are the challenges. Yeah. That let me take a client lens for this, because I come across many clients. I can't solve the world hunger and the geopolitical situation, but from a client situation, they are all very curious about AI and agentic AI. But what mistake people have done or doing is to rush into it without thinking about the real impact that it's going to have, either internally or externally. Many of them are also delving into AI from the perspective of cost reduction as against revenue generation potential, which is what it's supposed to be. Just to put things in perspective, if I were a complete businessman doing an ROI on this, you are expected, the AI investments that's going on in the market today, you need to generate about 500 to 600 billion. And that's the GDP of Sweden, for example, twice the GDP of a Portugal. You need to create. And all I'm doing is a simple math of using NVIDIA's data center revenue every year and then extrapolating that. It's like having 5 movie industries. It's not just movie, video, streaming put together. That's the amount of revenue that people are to generate and the ROI. So that's a challenge that everybody is grappling with. And that's where companies like Ciklum is helping clients to use this to create different experiences and either enhance on their revenue stream or create a completely brand new revenue stream, which is, of course, it's a long way to go.
Raj, it's a great insight. It's not really about just cost saving and automation. It's more about revenue generation. One of the things you just touched upon is experience. Tell us a little bit about what is experience engineering in your definition.
Yeah, it's again another very interesting aspect which we have mastered it. So I may take a little bit of pride in saying that as well. We all know engineering, our application build out, our product build out. That's very common. And in our product engineering, we all know AI or data. And we also know customer experience. It's not the graphical user experience, but it's more about how somebody will want to feel about using a product. For example, we are all familiar with Uber Eats. If it was very complicated, we would not be using it. It should be a touch of a button. That is user experience. It's nothing to do with how the product is built behind an architecture. Now, imagine combining all these three into one. User experience, unparalleled user experience, plus the modern age AI, which of course changes every week, plus the regular product engineering. Combining these three is what we call it as experience engineering. And we at Ciklum have taken this one level as to any work that comes to us, we approach it with the experience first mindset. So who are the end users? Because ultimately anything is done to generate revenue out of the product. And we put that experience first mindset, thinking, do a customer research, which is psychological, sociological study. And then we go back to architecture and building the product. And that has worked wonders because it moves the needle from a cost saving to a revenue play for the customers.
Interesting. So you continue to focus on creating revenue for customer, and that has been seemed like that's the DNA of the company, to think about revenue and growth of your customers.
100%. Many times, just like any company, we are also asked for, hey, can I have 5 resources with this skill set, 10 resources with that skill set? But what we have done, because we are leading with experience, our customer experience team immediately gets a hold of that. And then in the first conversation, they also join the team just to understand what they are trying to build. And then they start to unearth a lot more potential than what they would have envisaged. Usually, we get called much early these days. Even when the idea is in the minds of the CEO, we get called to think about the product. But this helps us to translate what would have been a basic product into a high-touch, frictionless, experience-driven product for the end users. And you do this for multiple different examples. Right? The largest language learning app, multiple language learning app, they just asked us for traditional people, or people looked at it and they came back and said, here is a potential for making this product provide much better user experience. Can it be voice driven? Can it be a simple action driven product? And then on the back end, how can we use AI for translation services? Essentially, it's a language to language translation that exists, which was pretty manual before. We just translated using AI as well as the cutting edge customer experience so that it engages the user rather than just used whenever it's needed. And their revenue streams increased massively because of that as well.
Got it. So you're able to bring in the input AI into wherever you need and bring in the traditional UI experience design capability together and engineering capability together to be able to design these.
Maybe another example, we work with a big travel / entertainment company, and they actually service the airlines. They have airlines. They do vacation packages. They cover wide range of services. And each one of them had a multiple system of engagement. You can go through the web, you can go through the mobile, you can go through an agent, you can call the customer service. And each one was going to a different point within their ecosystem. And also, all of their entries are also kept a system of record in different places. So basically, you had a situation where multiple systems of engagement and multiple systems of record. So now we were called in first to think about how can we do a one platform. Now we took that experience first approach to think from who are their end users. It's people who go on vacation or airline booking like you and me. So we went around to learn about what are their likes and dislikes, and also thought from the lens of we all go on a vacation once or twice a year. How can this company engage with us on the remaining 300 days? So we built all that into as an experience, from that experience layer, built that platform whereby you as an user can have one interface to all their products. Because ultimately you want the airline, you want the hotel, you want all the other packages that they have and all the services. So you can get that in one place. And what it also helped that other company, the company that we did, the client, it allowed them to cross-sell offerings, because earlier they would not have known this is person X who booked the hotel, the same person X has booked the airline. There is a way to offer them a spa service. There's a way to offer them a hotel package, a tour package in the city. They would not have known. But now this is allowed. So it has increased their top line by 17%.
Wow. Okay.
And the user rating went up high because users are happy. They can reach in one place the retail services.
Right. Raj, those are great examples of experience engineering. And there's also this whole concept, Jensen Ong talks about physical AI. How is it getting integrated with the physical products we use?
Many of us men and women use day-to-day razors. And this is for a big FMCG that we are working on. It's a regular razor, which they wanted to make it into a heated razor to give a better capability. Now, we have the ability, we build that product. But as we are building that product, we actually went back to the customer and said, here's an opportunity where we could sensor enable the product, pick up the data from how it is being used. And that data is sent to the cloud. We use AI to do some analysis, and then it's fed back. And the user has an ability, has an app where it suggests you are using it in a certain way, Mr. User or Miss User. If you use the stroke differently, you will have even better experience or a better performance out of the product that you have. Now, this is a simple example where there is a physical product. You sensor enable, get the data, use AI to validate and provide suggestions to give a better user experience in an app, which transform the product into being a simple day-to-day use into a proper user experience driven product, which led to multiple millions of revenue addition to that company.
And this is a very interesting example of integrating AI into a physical product which we do use on a daily basis. And what is your advice to enterprises who are getting started in the experience engineering journey? What are some of the pitfalls to avoid?
Yeah, and as I indicated earlier, one of the things that happens is people rush into AI or people rush into doing a transformation because that's the immediate thing that they see everywhere, and they expect a quick ROI as well. What I see as best practices is people approaching it from a customer first. Think about your end customers and what are their likes and dislikes. While you might think you know about your product, the best example I always say is, although it's for a different product, Tesla. When the whole industry was used to talk about how much mileage this car will give or what kind of maintenance this will happen, Tesla changed it to a completely user experience driven mindset. You don't buy a car for how many miles it will go or how much maintenance it will occupy. They shifted the narrative. So that's, if you can shift a narrative thinking from a user lens in terms of what your end user will require in the years to come. That's the first one I say.
So jobs to be done by the end user. What are they trying to get?
What are they trying to get out of this? In the earlier case, if they are trying to learn a language, that's your product. If they are trying to order a food, that's your language. Or how easy can your payment tech be? Second one I would say is look at your data and data infrastructure, because many times your scalability and others would become a problem. People don't think from that lens because you have to modernize your data infrastructure because everything is data driven. That's the second one that we see. And the third one is have a clear view of how much agency you can give to the agentic AI. Because in the example I gave about creating the itinerary for a travel plan, AI can do a fantastic job. Will there be pitfalls and errors? Yes, there will be some errors, which can be fine-tuned. Whereas if you are conservative, you would want to do it all yourself. A safer bet might take ages and time to achieve, which AI can achieve. So how much, yes, do you need to have proper governance, you need to have proper security and some guardrails for your AI-based services. So those are the three I would say. First is user at the center of your universe. Second is your data and data modernization. And third is, while you worry about governance and security, decide on how much agency you want to give to your agentic AI.
Yeah, I like that agency to the agentic AI as a concept, right? So Raj, you spoke about experience engineering and what are the key pitfalls about experience engineering. From a client's perspective, when they look at Ciklum, how are you uniquely positioned to solve the customer thought?
I think that's a good question. And I'll also answer from a customer, my client's perspective. What they see in us is a company that has a customer-first mindset. By that, not the client, but client's end customer-first mindset in the way we approach our engagement, in the way we go about building the product for them. And earlier I mentioned about the integration of customer experience, engineering, and AI and data together. So led by customer experience. The second aspect relates to that, where there are many companies which does each of them very well. There are companies that do customer experience well. A lot of companies do engineering well. A lot of companies do AI well. They see us as one company where we have a seamless integration of customer experience with engineering, where it's not as if we give an idea and walk away, but we get that implemented all the way through, because that seamless experience that we promise to their end customers get to life. And the team is engaged through and through. And the third one, needless to say, is our strong presence across the globe. You have deep depth of engineering talent in Eastern Europe, where we are very strong at. We have strong data capability in India, where we are very big at. And then you need, for the CX experience, you need nearshore people, which is either in the UK or US or Canada. And that, because it's all handled in the country. So we have the blend of multi-geography teams that can work across the ecosystem for the client. And that actually works very well for us. And that's why clients keep coming to us. So basically, three different things.
Got it. Customer first, strong engineering execution, global delivery with the right talent in the right place. Great. And Raji, you lead thousands of engineers, right? And you talk to engineers, you talk to people who are graduating out of college right now, and there's a little bit of concern. Hey, what is this AI going to do to their career? So what is the mindset and skill set required to future-proof the careers of some of these engineers?
And my job allows me a chance to meet with the many youngsters
From across the world, like you have teams across the world.
across the world. And as I said, Eastern Europe, India, and in the US. What I see is, you might all think that they want results sooner and it's a fast-moving world, which is very true. What I also see them and which fascinates me is their affinity to make an impact in the world. They care for the world. They care for the environment. They are more conscious of the environment that they are in. So that's a good blend to have. People wanting to do transformation. AI, in my view, is a tool. And what I tell the kids whom I meet is, rather than think of it as a doomsday scenario, think of having it as your companion. If you can ride along with AI, then you have double the power to do things. The transformation that you are looking at, you have more opportunity to do that. And you also have an opportunity to be a change agent for the transformation, because the previous generation is going to stick to what they know best, whereas you are coming in fresh with the mindset. So if you have the mindset to learn AI, to use that as a companion, and also be the change agent, you will be extremely successful, because the world is looking for newer, richer experiences. And that's your work.
Great. So Raj, you seem to be very optimistic about the future for the next generation of engineers. Thank you, Raj. Thanks for sharing your valuable insights and experience, and all the best to helping your customer think about their customers as they build their experience. Big thank you to our listeners for tuning in to this episode. I'm your host, Pari Natarajan. Till the next episode, goodbye.